YouTube, Terry going to be acting to equal pay by the It's Complicated channel, rules of modern dating and understanding women. It's complicated. I really like this channel a lot. Let's get this video started.
Who is the most famous actress you can think of?
Actress? Drew Barrymore.
Okay, if Drew Barrymore was in a movie with a male co-star that nobody had heard of, would it be fair to pay them the same salary?
No.
Why not?
Because the person's not known. They're not doing more work, but more people know them. You're going to get paid more for it. Just like, why do you think Canelo makes so much on his fights? Because so many people like Canelo. That's why he makes millions of dollars per fight.
Because he's not, known of, and because he didn't, work to be famous like she did.
Okay, since Drew is the star of the movie, won't she bring more people to the theater than her co-star?
Yes.
Okay, that's called star power. How is that different than the gender pay gap?
Oh, that's a loaded one. For women or for...
It's not. You just explained it in the perfect type of question, bruh. And then you just reverse the question, right? So if there's, let's say, I don't know, some famous male actor, right? Let's take Johnny Depp, for example, right? And he's the main star, main actor of the movie, right? And then you have a woman that has a side part, or maybe she's the co-actor, right? But nobody knows her. He knows more people. Everyone knows him, so she is getting paid more because he's more valuable in the acting sense.
Well, I mean, the WNBA complains about not being paid the same to the NBA, and they don't generate...
But they don't get that many views compared to the NBA. They get a lot less.
...as much revenue, so, I mean, isn't that kind of like the same thing?
I feel like the WNBA isn't promoted as much as the NBA because they are women.
They're not promoted as much. If you want to promote, you gotta promote. You can't just want to be promoted and just ask for it, bruh. You gotta go on Instagram, you gotta go on TikTok and make accounts of the WNBA, good shots, good dunk, all that, right? Good dunks. So people will want to watch it, and then more people will watch it. You'll make more money.
Right, but I mean, wouldn't a male co-star that no one's ever heard of not be promoted as much and not be able to...
Yeah, I guess.
So is that comparable?
Maybe, sure.
I mean, wouldn't it have more to do with performance than discrimination?
Performance, and this is just for the acting, but with anything, performance, how good you're doing the work, how much work you're getting done, and if it's the quality of it's good. You're not doing it quick and getting it done fast, but it'll break down in a few days or whatever happened, it'll stop working.
Oh, I don't know. You're hitting me. I wasn't ready. I don't know.
You're right about that one, but I just feel like
if they both doing the same job.
If you shop on Amazon, you should use this tool.
The ads.
It's a browser extension that...
They deserve the same pay. It doesn't matter.
So, if they both got the same job, right? Both got the same job. Well, one of them can be doing more work, getting more things done. Right? Like if, say, you and your coworkers, you got a female coworker that's an engineer. You both have the same job. Your title is the same, right? But you get 3 projects done a week, right? And your female coworker, she only gets 1. So why would it be fair for y'all to be paid equally if you're getting more work done in a less amount of time and the quality of work is better?
Okay, but at the same time, then why would someone want to star in their movie? What would be the benefit of having a celebrity in your movie if they weren't gonna, bring more people to the theater?
Right. That makes sense, but...
I mean, they're both doing the same job, but don't they have different value to the project?
Yeah, but I feel
you're right.
So shouldn't their pay you
See,
know,
I feel like-
reflect the value that they're bringing to the movie?
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like it depends on what parts you play. Yeah.
Doesn't that completely disprove the gender pay gap right there?
Yep. But they're about to say it doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, they did. Oh, wow. Good for them, yo.
Alright.
You have two actors who are basically both starring and doing the same job, but they have different value because one is a celebrity and the other one's an unknown. So,
And you're saying with the basketball?
well, what I'm saying is when it comes to basketball, right? A lot of women say that the WNBA should be paid the same as the NBA, but
Yeah, they
don't.
should.
But they don't generate the same revenue.
So they can't pay them that money unless the owners of the teams or the coaches of the team want to pay them that money. But I don't think they want to do that. Like, how much was LeBron James getting paid? Like 290 something mil for 4 or 5 year contract. Now, if a WNBA star got that, good for her. She deserves it, right? But you have to be bringing in that revenue to be able to pay players like that. If you don't bring in the revenue, players do not get paid as much because they're not putting on a quality show. Because the NBA, it's basketball, right? But when you promote it on TV and broadcast on TV, you want to see a show. You want to see people getting dunked on, step back three, people's ankles getting broke. You know what I'm saying?
So isn't that kind of like the same analogy as the celebrity getting paid more than the no-name actor?
In some respect, but at the end of the day, I would say to advertise them more. In all respect, if we look at Nike, if we look at Adidas, who do we see? Like, we mostly see male, like, athletes. I'm trying to make a pose. Models.
But even if you advertise something more, does that necessarily mean that you're going to have more success? I mean, there are tons of businesses that fail.
I mean, and with Nike has, I'm pretty sure they have a men and women section. So if they're doing an advertisement for men's clothes, they would have male models because they are male clothes, right? And just if they had women's clothes in the advertisement, it would be women, beautiful women that are on the advertisements, right? And depending on how much sales those bring in, depends on how much money they get paid.
But there's a ton that make it, and it's by advertising.
Acting, it requires you to act, put a little bit more work into it. Actually read a script, right? Read a script, do all these things that NBA players don't have to really do. They just practice and so you can't compare.
They just practice, that's it. They dedicate their lives to the NBA, bruh. If you're playing on an NBA team, you gotta wake up early, you gotta work out, you gotta eat right, you gotta practice 5 days a week, multiple times a day. Probably. You got to go to team practice, press conferences. Then you actually have to play and perform to be able to keep yourself on that team and not get and be a starter, if anything. But if you're on the bench, you still have to perform to a certain level so you're able to stay on that team.
Compare them.
Just like any job.
You can't compare the two.
Well, once again,
as far as the pay rate is concerned.
Well, once again, like I said, they're both, they're both training. They're both basically, they're both doing, acting, whether you're a male or a female actor, you're still basically, doing the same work, but they shouldn't be paid the same?
I don't know.
I'm just saying,
I'm over it.
Okay.
Next question.
Because she knows that he's right and they just don't want to answer it.
I don't think it's based off of discrimination. I think it's based off of how long you've been at your job, how well you are with your technique, and how good you are.
She's right. 100% right there. She's right.
At what you do. I think that's what
Like I was saying, the quality of the work, how fast you're getting it done, this, that.
matters.
Do you think high-paid Hollywood actors should have their money redistributed so struggling actors can have a living wage?
No, those struggling actors need to work harder for their money if that's what they want.
Okay, but it's funny how a lot of Hollywood actors often talk about, socialism.
Yeah, I see.
So, okay.
Here at Washington Mastermind over the last 4 years, we
Another
had
ad,
over
bruh.
500
This
students
dude.
get our help with
How do you solve the gender pay gap?
There's not a gender pay gap. That's complete bullshit.
There has been some skepticism about the gender
Did you hear what that girl just said? It's complete bullshit. She's right.
pay gap, equal pay for equal work. Do you believe the wage gap is due more to sexism or productivity?
I think it's sexism.
Yes.
Okay.
I think men get paid more.
Yep.
They get paid more because they do more work. If a woman and a man are both construction workers, if a man's lifting more, doing more, carrying more, getting more stuff done, why wouldn't he get paid more? He's doing more work, more quality work. But there it is, oh, I need to get paid the same.
It's got to be productivity.
Yep.
Can you show me a job where the pay scale for men and women is different?
Porn?
Okay.
I don't know.
Actors and actresses.
Oh yeah.
Hmm?
Actors and actresses. They'll be in the same movie.
Yep.
Doing the same amount of work.
Yeah.
If the wage gap exists, then why would companies employ men when it would be cheaper to hire women?
Because companies can be sexist.
Or men just get more work done. Right? Take Justin Waller, for example. He said that all of his managers are women. And he pays them women good because they do good work. They do quality work. They get their work done. And he's in a construction company, so it would be better, instead of him having to yell at his employees to get stuff done, you could just have a woman say it nicely and they'll do it, right? So it's complete myth. The
And that's like the point. That's the problem.
Why would companies employ men when it would be cheaper to hire women?
You know, that is a good one. Hold on. They probably wouldn't.
I mean, if women are capable of doing just as good a job and for less money, wouldn't it make sense for a company to hire all women?
I mean, yeah, if women were getting paid less, you know, what is it, 70 cents on the dollar? Yeah, companies would, you know, find a good deal in that, yeah.
Is there a wage gap or an earnings gap?
It's got to be an earnings gap.
If men earn more than women overall, could it possibly be because men typically choose higher paying jobs, more dangerous jobs, and work longer hours?
Yep, these are all facts. You know, I work as a truck driver. I don't see clearly as many female truck drivers as I do male today.
And truck drivers, depending on where you work, you can get paid from $80,000
Dangerous
to
job.
around $115,000 a year. $80,000 to $150,000 a year for trucking. But you're out on the road for multiple weeks. You're away from your family.
It's a long job.
For multiple weeks, driving 10, 12, 16 hours a day.
You're driving for hours. Yeah. No.
Don't women generally choose lower paying fields like education and nursing as opposed to math, science, and ditch digging jobs?
Yeah, more thinking.
So wouldn't their pay reflect that?
Yeah.
She was starting to actually think.
Women like to work with people,
First
men like to
time.
work with things.
Don't women also choose to take more time off to focus on friends and family, whereas men are more likely to be devoted to work?
I think, yeah, this is also another fact, you know, biology of life.
Women have to bury a child and they have to take maternity leave. So that's a very big issue for most CEOs in the company, because they can't really have that liability for an employee to take leave for such a long time. And that's one of the biggest concerns for women being paid so low, is because of their it all has to do with.
But isn't that biology? And
yes, it has to do with biology. That's why we're
but
upset.
why should an employer be responsible?
She said it has to do with biology. That's why we're upset. You're upset that doesn't that statement sound stupid? They're upset because of their biology. You can't change biology.
For a woman's choice
to have play the cards you're dealt.
A kid.
They're not responsible, but it's just the basic ethics.
It actually is illegal
Wait, did
to.
she just say they're not responsible for their kids? What?
Why should an employer be responsible for a woman's choice to have a kid?
They're not responsible, but it's just the basic
I was about to say.
ethics.
It actually is illegal to discriminate pay based on gender. Why aren't more women filing class action lawsuits against companies that don't pay them equally?
I would say it's a lot easier to get another job. I mean, I'd love to say, like, yeah, we're going to fight for it, and we do, but to the extent of a lawsuit, I mean, get a new job. Like,
Don't people sue for discrimination all the time?
Yeah, but also I feel like it's a lot harder
for anybody to then go sue their job due to something that happened, knowing that.
Not really. You just call your lawyer up, talk to your lawyer on the phone, tell him what happened, see if it's you actually have a reason that you could do it, like a legal reason that it's actually you would not win, but you could take it to court if you wanted to, and then you proceed from there.
They're going to go through all the legal fees. They have the possibility of not.
Yeah, you do have the possibility of not winning, but if your lawyer tells you your case is strong, if you believe that your case is strong, you might have to pay them legal fees. But what happens if you win $1 million because of the company was being sexist against you, they were discriminating against you? So you gotta take risk if you want a reward.
Then winning that case, although they very much would have been discriminated against, there's not a high chance that they could win it. And if they do, you get a payout, pays out through the stack, like things like that.
But even a class action lawsuit, I mean, if it was happening as frequently as you hear about it, you would think that companies would be sued all the time.
You would think, but I also don't think a lot of people are going to go through their time to sue a company knowing that it might be more repercussions to them in the end due to money and legal fees and all that.
I also just think it's not talked about enough in the workplace. Like, there's a large stigma around discussing your pay with your coworkers, because what if you do make more than them and then they're like, hey, like, why are you getting paid more than me? It's
I kind of agree with her right here, because I do kind of agree with that, right? I'm working at Subway right now, and I've been working there for about 4 months or so. I've been doing during the summer I was night shift every single day, 5 days a week, right? Or basically every single day, 5 days a week. But now the new co-workers that just came here, right? They're getting paid more than me. I'm confused. I don't understand that. That's what I'm trying to say is, and my manager literally tells me that don't talk about your pay with your co-workers.
It's something that you don't generally talk about with your coworkers. Like, oh, by the way, I make this much a year. You know, I make this much per paycheck. It's not something that comes up in
because they don't. The company does not want you to talk about it, right? Because then you're going to go ask the company, hey, why is this happening when I've been here for longer, when I've been putting in more work than these people, but I'm still getting paid less? Doesn't make any sense.
Workplace conversation.
Can you tell me any jobs with a pay scale?
I mean, they're probably working more than me now, but they promised me 2 raises for 4 months worth of work, so.
For men and women is different?
Not off the top of my head without like...
I can. Actors, I mean, broad amount of payment, but men are higher paid actors.
Why are some industries dominated by men and others by women?
Oh.
Because it's biology that plays that role.
Dang, you know.
What men and women like to do for their profession, for their job.
I don't know.
Why are there more female than male strippers and prostitutes, and what does that say about society?
Sex.
Like I said in my last video, there's a lot more and it's going to be a lot more in the future, because men now 18 to 25, they're depressed. Because if you're talking to a beautiful woman and she has an Instagram, she is 100,000 followers or less. It doesn't. If she has a public profile and she has promiscuous photos on that profile, big men are going to be hitting her up, bruh. Football players, NFL stars, all this and that. So why would she want you? That's why there's so more, because men can't get a relationship nowadays.
And you know, the female body is more pleasurable to look at, I guess.
Would it be possible to sell sex if men did not sexually objectify women?
No. That's why I'm not complaining.
I'm not complaining.
If I didn't get objectified, I wouldn't get paid.
Look at you paid.
That's how.
They were probably. I ain't trying to put a label on them, but they seem like strippers.
View women.
Okay. Why don't men complain about female strippers and prostitutes earning more than male ones?
That's a good question.
Because they know that's the industry. That's how it works. When you go to a club, you're going, or depending on the club, or if you're going to a strip club, you're going to see women, right? Right?
How much of our economy is driven by men buying things to please and impress women?
Oh, that's Man, it's got to be close to 100%, if not, in the high 90s,
Would you agree that most consumer spending is geared towards women?
Yeah, I think the statistics are right. I think 86% of consumer base is women.
Would you also agree that the media,
Fresh and Fit has been saying this as well, that's why most women are in debt.
pushes a campaign of fear and consumption by exploiting men's need for female validation?
Yeah, look at dating websites. They're not there to find love. They're there to extract as much resources out of men as possible.
So why is there so much talk about the exploitation of women, but we never talk about this exploitation of men?
It's like the society growing up thing, toughen up, young man, or men don't cry or something like that. It's expected of men to front the bill.
Finally, why is there so much talk about a gender pay gap, but not a gender spend gap?
I sometimes I believe women want to be men in the sense of that they want the ambition.
They want the attributes.
They want the drive that they have. They want the results, but results aren't given to everybody equally.
How should we determine which jobs are more valuable?
It's about supply and demand when it comes to value. What's value?
Supply and demand. Literally learning about this in school, right? If you got a high-paying job, right, and you have a man working,
valuable. So, if it's cracking, if it's a lot of people that want the business,
job, they're gonna find the best person for the job, regardless if you're a man or woman. They're gonna find the best person for the job that does the work the most, does it efficiently, does it good, does it right, and then they're gonna pay them.
If the job is offering, then it should.
If a man does a shitty job, but a woman does a better job, they will hire the woman because they're a company. They need things done.
Pay more. Like McDonald's, man. I think McDonald's workers should get paid more. They making all them goddamn cheeseburgers, man. Pay them McDonald's workers more money, man.
Women can do more than men can in certain aspects, and men can do more than women can in certain
And
aspects.
you don't fuck with McDonald's because they ain't getting paid like that. So if you disrespect them or say something not too nice to them, I'm sure they'll spit in your food, bruh.
So if a man is making more, it's because
they'll do something to your food.
he's doing a job that I probably can't do.
So can we agree that men and women are different?
Yes.
There you go. What is it?
No worry now.
What's up, y'all? I'm balding badly at 24, and I haven't.
What does it mean when somebody says that's a man's job?
I think they say it's a man job because the physical requirements from it, probably. Because if it's not physically requiring to lift heavy things, do acts that require lifting, moving things that are heavy, then a woman can do it. But if it just depends on the job and what you have to lift and what you have to move, like if you're a construction worker or if you lay pipes.
I think in society it's meant to mean that it's like a more macho or like laborious job, society-wise.
Okay, what's a woman's job?
A woman's job is anything she wants to be. I mean,
that's true, but
well, wouldn't a man's job also be anything he wants it to be then?
in the same respect, yeah.
Yep.
Hard work, labor, out and open.
What's a woman's job?
Out on hot days.
Cook, clean, and make sure the house is good.
Do you think most women want to do those jobs today?
Nope, and that's why ever since feminism has become a thing, and I'm young about I can't really talk about this because I'm not in the age group where it's mostly affected me, because I'm 16, but 18 to 25 really, it's affected this, that women's happiness levels have gone down since they've started working more, started going out the house more. Because back in the 50s and 60s, they were a stay-home wife. They enjoyed life with their kids, playing with their kids, but now they're out working. They don't like life as much.
They should.
But do they want to?
Probably not.
So why are men still expected to be what women want if women are no longer encouraged to be what men want?
It's the world we live in.
Yep.
Isn't that a world of double standards?
It is.
Mechanics, getting your hands dirty, moving labor, driving trucks.
I don't really think that driving trucks, unless you're having to take the stuff out of the truck, women could drive a truck easily if she got the certification.
The list could go on and on.
Why are women more concerned with the ratio of male to female CEOs as opposed to the ratio of lower paid, dangerous, dirty jobs done mostly by men?
I think because women who want to start their own business or want to be their own CEO are frowned upon because it's looked at that's a man's job, not a woman's job.
It's on the tip of my brain. It's like they don't even acknowledge that as something that makes the world go round. We're in Las Vegas. Men built all of these skyscrapers, roads.
And they built it when they had no protection. You seen them videos of them in the 50s, 40s, them walking up on the skyscrapers with no fall protection. They're just walking, smiling, making jokes.
There's probably some women in there, but yeah, they're just
yes, there was some women in there.
Visible to that.
Yeah, you're standing in front of the Eiffel Tower. That was built by a man, probably. Would you rather have a high-profile job for no pay or clean sewers for $100,000 a year?
I struggle with the smell of poo. So I think a high-profile job with no pay, because when you think about it, it would come...
I would clean sewers for $100,000 a year, bruh. Then you got some side hustles that's a good thing. Just wear a mask.
With incentives.
You can pay your mortgage there.
I guess there's pros to both of them, but to give you a flat-out answer, I would prefer to have the high-profile job without pay, because if I was high-profile, I'd market myself to be sponsored by some company and just keep working at it and get money, get paid, do more with that platform I have.
I'm cleaning sewers for $100K, man. Ain't no shame in my game.
I'm cleaning sewers. There's no question about it.
Why?
More money.
Clean the sewers. I'm just going in my head. No, I'm gonna clean the sewers for $100,000 a year.
Or clean sewers for $100,000 a year.
High-paying or a high-profile job with no money.
I'd rather the first one.
Okay, so wouldn't that explain why you're paid less?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to do...
Because I really don't want to do that.
You don't want to do the dangerous, dirty jobs.
No.
So could that possibly be why so many women earn less money than men?
Yep.
So is that based on discrimination or based on...
Alright, well that's the end of the video, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about this topic. Like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later, y'all.